Hi peeps, Junction 6 here. Today's Sunday, so there's no World of Tanks Blitz content. Instead, we're going to be looking at this guy. Well, not so much him, more his work. Who is he, you're saying? Well, it's Edward Hopper. He's an artist, and he has one really famous work. And I've seen it, and it's this one called Nighthawks. And like I just said, I have actually seen this painting. I was on a stag do in London, and the stag do was we were going to go to everywhere on the Monopoly board in London and have a beer in each place. And for the electric company, we chose the Tate Modern, which is obviously in London. It used to be a power station, and they were holding an exhibition of Hopper's work. So we had our beer in the bar there, and we went and had a look at some art, including this picture. There was an audio recording explaining the artwork to you. I think it was wrong, because he said in this artwork it was all to do with silence and solitude and loneliness. However, Hopper himself refutes that. He says it's to do with predators in the night rather than loneliness. And that's the artist himself saying that. So all those art critics that say it's to do with loneliness and isolation are totally wrong. So what is it about this painting? What's the theme of it? Well, I think for a start that it's a totally unfinished painting, or at least it was a rush job finish of a painting. It was finished in January of 1942, but in December of 1941, we all know what happened. Pearl Harbor. America were at war. Now, Edward Hopper would do, 3 to 4 paintings a year. That's all. He wasn't a prolific painter. He took time and patience, planned every detail of his paintings. Nothing was in there which didn't need to be in there. He was an almost minimalist artist. If you look at all his works, there's very little in there. Here's a picture of his wife. As you can see, it's pretty bare. There's not a lot in the picture. His wife was also an artist, but most importantly, she was like Hopper's manager and financial advisor. She looked after all the money, and she even named most of his paintings. It was her that called this painting the Nighthawks. So we set the scene. War has broken out, and Hopper's got a half-finished painting. He's going to rush to finish it, and he'll do whatever it takes to sell this painting. He's got to get it done quick. He's got to get it off his hands, because who's going to buy paintings with a war going on? That's why I think he adds the Phillies bit at the top. Obviously, Phillies are the cigars, so people who collected anything to do with cigars might buy his painting. It's a bit like adding, Coca-Cola or Tesla or something like that in today's market. Put that on, anybody who collects that sort of stuff might buy it. You've got to maximise your audience. He's got to get rid of this painting. There's a war on, for God's sake. I think there are a few other clues as well to why this was a rush painting. I think for a start, the whole of the left-hand side of the painting is almost empty. I'm sure he was going to put something in there. But the guy sat down on his own. Just look at his arm. That looks to me so wrong, the way it kind of glitches into the mug. That's not Hopper at all. He wouldn't do that. And also on the left-hand side there is what looks like a plate to me, although some people say it's a newspaper. I think it's a plate. And where it's positioned, it can't possibly be this guy's plate. So somebody must have been sat next to him. I think Hopper intended to put a lot more people in this. Now, Hopper only normally did 2 or 3 people in a painting, so this was very rare. This was going to be something special. Not only is the plate and the mug wrong, but why is this glass here? There's a single glass on the bar. Maybe there was going to be a customer using that. I see Hopper's work as a single frame in a film, and you've got to work out the storyline from that one frame. So let's try and do that. We're looking up close at the 2 main characters. He's got a cigarette in his hand, but there's no ashtray. She's holding something in her hand. We'll come back to that. The guy with the hat and the cigarette is looking directly at the server, and I think he's just asked him for a ashtray, and the guy is bent over because he's getting an ashtray from under the counter. Ashtrays were massive then. Everybody smoked, didn't they? You were allowed to smoke indoors, and they were great advertising for your business. Both Hopper and his wife smoked, therefore I doubt he would have forgotten to put an ashtray in the picture. What else is going on? That woman is looking intently at something in her hand. But what is it? Now, if you notice, the guy has got an unlit cigarette. So I'm not sure what that is myself. It's square, kind of green. Some people say that it's folded over money, maybe, the greenback, or it could be a book of matches. These books of matches were given away free in hotels and bars, especially some of the seedier hotels, and definitely in some of the seedier bars. So is that why she's looking so intently at it? Is she reading the name, what's on it, knowing that the guy next to her has been to some seedy hotel or seedy bar? And is she in a relationship with that guy next to her? Now, she isn't wearing any rings at all. Neither is he. Her cup looks like it's steaming, so she's just got there. His looks cold, so he's been there a while. Is that money what's folded over, though? I mean, she's in a red dress, she's got her red lipstick on, her red hair, the Scarlet Lady, taking money from men for some sort of favours. This might take it back to the predatory nature of the night. Another theory is that it's not money or matches, but something else which comes in a small square box or packet, and something a lady of the night might be carrying with her. Of course, we're talking about, could it be a condom? Now, I don't think it is. I definitely think that is a book of matches. And she's looked at it and thought to herself, he's been down the Gaiety Club or whatever with all those floozies. He's supposed to be meeting me here. I've got all dressed up for him. It's gonna kick off. There's gonna be a big scene. But we've only got one little frame of the film to try and work out what's gonna happen. What do you guys think of this painting? And what's your theory about this painting? Are they Nighthawks? Are they lonely? Are they just having a drink in a cafe? Catch you next week for something different to Blitz.